Greetings again, vac fans. Well, I might be talking and or vacuuming a little slower today because whatever, I don't know, flu or colds or something like that's making its way through, like, say, the central Ohio area, it's hit the vac lab family. So we're all kind of feeling the ick. So let's see. I have here a Rainbow E2 Type 12 and a Power Nozzle Type 12. And let's go over some of the pre-measurements I've done. And you're going to see the whole house cleaning first, because that's just what's going to come together video-wise. But I've already put this machine on the bench using actually two different filters. And I'll get to some specifics here in a minute. But you know what got me first? The very first thing that I noticed was this power nozzle, specifically the width of it. It's only 8¾ inches wide, and it's about 2 inches front to back, so that means about 17½ square inch opening. That's very small. That's like, wow. So from one edge to the other edge, it's about 13 inches. So you think or this is what it's going to feel like. You think you've got this big beefy nozzle that you're using, right? But you got to realize you're going to have to kind of slice off a couple inches on both sides where there's no appreciable airflow. I mean, you do have agitation through these interesting little brushes here that try to pull stuff in, and they have little channels right here on either side, where you can get a little bit of airflow in there. But you have to realize that this is very, very narrow. So if you have a large home, it's going to take you a lot longer to clean this because your cleaning power, your width, is really going to affect your time compared to a 12, 13, or maybe 14-inch wide nozzle that actually has an opening that's, the same kind of width I just talked about. So just keep in mind, if you get this, if you have small areas, probably going to do pretty well. But if you have like a 4, 5, 6,000 square foot house, it's going to take you longer with a nozzle this small. Now, speaking more of this nozzle, it says on the ratings plate, and let's see if I can get that, uses, and it really should say up to 1.8 amps. And the thing is, I've measured and measured and measured. Well, okay, it's down here. I've measured and measured and measured, and the issue is I can't get this thing on medium pile carpet to use anywhere near 1.8 amps. So typically you're around maybe 600, 700, 800 milliamps. Maybe 900 milliamps peak, which is about half of what it's rated. So maybe there's some kind of super uber thick carpet where it can use 1.8 amps, but I can't get this thing to even draw an amp. I can't. I have a couple different filters. The one I'm running in the back here is the cleanest one I have. And Thomas, you'll know what that means. So this, of course, is the outside of the filter, and you'll notice that the outside hatch here for the exhaust is missing. This is just what I have to work with. But I want to call your attention to this filter. So you notice how this is very clean? Well, if you go and take the filter, and it's a cartridge, if you take that filter cartridge out and turn it around, the part of it that actually faces the motor itself, not so clean. Now this one here is generally okay, but there's another one that I have that is definitely not in very good shape, and it really affects the airflow. So I think the owner's manual says something like replace the filter every 4 to 6 years. Obviously, it's going to be depending on use, but I think they really mean it. So depending on what you vacuum up, and obviously, your results will vary, you might need to replace that filter more often than you think. And on eBay, the cheapest that I found them is a little over $30. All right, so I'm blathering on long enough for this introduction. You're going to see more extensive testing videos, nice, dull and boring testing videos. But I think what you're going to see is if you have a brand new one of these machines, these newer type 2-speed E12 Platinum, maybe with the light in the bowl or whatever it is, something like 2011, 2012, 2013, it seems to be that if everything is perfect with your system, perfectly clean filter, perfectly clean seals, you get the idea. Best you can hope for is about 100 CFM right from here. And the best you can hope for when you plug the hose in right here is going to be at this end right there is about 80 CFM. That's going to be peak. I'm measuring slightly less than that because I have a filter that isn't perfectly clean. And that means down here, theoretical maximum, you're looking at, wait for it, 60 CFM. So between here and here, going through these joints, going through that wand, you're looking at about a 20 CFM loss. So you're going to see a maximum, I think a theoretical maximum of about 60. I've personally measured in the upper 50s. And again, it depends on the filter that you're using. But I think about 60 is really going to be it. All right, so, oh yeah, something else I wanted to bring up. This thing as a whole, all right, uses a lot of power. So with my power meter on medium pile carpet, and the carpet you use affects the power that this whole system uses, 1,475 watts. That's the power nozzle running on medium pile flow-through carpet, and this thing running on high. So you're just a little under 1,500 watts. That's a lot of power. All right, so that's definitely enough blabbing. I see I've gone on for almost 7 minutes, probably put everybody to sleep. So let's get whole house vacuuming. All right, here's the carpet lines. It's just a big open swath. Oh, and by the way, I haven't vacuumed for one solid week. I normally vacuum twice a week. So will we see twice as much dirt as we would normally expect? About the same? Less? Who knows? About as close as I can go. You see the little wiggle this makes? Might be a little hard to see. When you're pushing it forward, it gives a little wiggle because of those outer brushes that spin. It's kind of cute. Hey, we can go underneath. All right. Made it. So, the swivel steering comes in handy. But as you can see, this doesn't go flat. So, when you push it straight down, the nozzle comes up. So, you have to go to one side or the other side. If I can reorient myself here. Gotta move the canister. Don't want the power nozzle to fall over, because that's really embarrassing to have happen in a video. Got it. So here's a second look at the carpet lines. It's just a big open swath. Seems to raise the pile up a little bit. Focus. All right, I do not have the matching E2 tool set. I have tools from the D4Cs that I have. So I'm going to do the couches separately, and we'll take a look at the dirt. But right now, we finished the entire second floor, including doing underneath everything I can think of, and let's take a look at the water. All right, I disconnected the hose. I've not seen it yet. And there we go. So this is 1 week where I would normally do 2 vacuum sessions, and I've only done 1. There, that's a little better focus. So I am not going to dump this, and we'll just add to it when I do the first floor. right, so this ends the whole house vacuuming for the Rainbow E2 Type 12 with the also 12 power nozzle. I guess some people might call it a PN3, but it's a pretty new version of the power nozzle compared to the older ones. And now we need to take a look at the dirt. Well, there it is. That is 1 full week of dirt, which is about twice as much as you would normally expect because I vacuum twice a week. We are 3 humans and 1 short-haired boxer. And obviously we've got some goo there. And you know what? That I am not putting down the toilet. That's going to go in the trash can.